What's up, everyone? It's Fuzzy. Welcome back to yet another MLB recap. And is Shohei Ohtani about to win MVP as a DH? I'm just asking the question. You guys have to let me know. Corey Seager, there's no way he's going to be able to catch up to Aaron Judge, Juan Soto, Gunnar Henderson, guys like that. But he's on one of those Seager hot streaks that you just kind of have to get out the way and watch. The Minnesota Twins, they nearly put up 20 runs against the hapless Colorado Rockies, and I hate to say it, but the Atlanta Braves, they might actually be broken. Before we start the recap, don't forget to use code Fuzzy on SeatGeek to save 20 bucks off all of your tickets, and if you're a brand new user to Underdog Fantasy, code Fuzzy gets you this special Ohtani pick'em, which is literally free. All he has to do is show up, and you win. You're welcome. Use code Fuzzy on Underdog Fantasy. Here we go. The A's at the Padres. Donnie Barrels, a.k.a. Donovan Solano. I don't even like calling him by his first name anymore. He and Jackson Merrill, they both hit their first of 2 home runs early on. And San Diego starter Michael King, he was insane. They're finally starting to get peak Michael King. He had 10 strikeouts in 4 innings and 2 more in the 5th inning. So again, 12 strikeouts through 5. But he did allow a few A's to get on before Wandy Peralta relieved him. He also came on over in the Juan Soto trade. Tyler Soderstrom has been a beast over the last week. He ruins Michael King's shutout. That run was credited to him. And Shea Langeliers, he makes it 2 earned runs, so he ties it just barely, though. Look at Miguel Andujar chugging home. I thought that he was about to get tagged out, but look at this play. MLB The Show came to real life. Slugger Seth Brown laid down a perfect bunt, and Soderstrom, he was able to score from second base because everyone got locked in with their animations, and again, it looked like MLB The Show. How did that just happen? So it's now 4-2 Oakland when Donnie Barrels barreled up another ball. It's a 2-run home run. Donovan Solano is now hitting .313 on the year, and Jackson Merrill, he did the impossible. Well, I guess it's been a little bit more possible the last few weeks, but I still love Mason Miller, don't get me wrong, but he ditched the 102 fastball for a slider. Jackson, he walked it off. The 21-year-old now has 5 home runs, 9 stolen bases, 4 outs above average. The Padres, they win back-to-back games with a walk-off home run. They've won 3 games in a row. They're now 37 and 35. The Padres, they're coming around. The White Sox and Mariners game featured 2 dudes that looked like they walked off the set from a 1980s Cobra Kai karate team, and they were facing off against the Karate Kid. You have Jonathan Cannon versus Bryce Miller. Bryce Miller was fantastic. He had 8 strikeouts over 7 scoreless innings, which was big considering he gave up 7 runs in his last start, and it really seemed like whoever scored first would win. Luke Raley, he finally got a run on the board. He now has 7 home runs, and he's got the Triton. I love the Mariners home run celebration. Now, Jonathan Cannon was very, very good. Again, that's the first run allowed by either pitcher all game long. The Mariners, they went into the 9th inning with that 1-run lead, and I don't do this very often, but listen to the broadcast of the Mariners as they realized that Luis Robert Jr. was coming in to pinch hit. Listen to this.
Luis Robert Jr. is going to pinch hit.
Be careful. Like I said, be careful.
And just like that, Bryce Miller's chance at a W is ruined, but at least the Mariners still came around. What? Holy speech impediment. Trent Thornton, he was hyped up like he was hyped squared. He was out of his mind. And Mitch Haniger, he delivered in the bottom half of the 10th inning. I'm so happy that he's back with the Mariners. He's never allowed to leave, ever. Seattle, look at them. They've won 4 in a row. I don't know how I'm going to do this game. I might be skipping a lot. I'm sorry, Rockies fans, but 28 runs were scored in this next game. So again, please bear with me. Every single member of the Twins had an RBI. Buxton, he had an RBI single with the bases loaded. Carlos Santana, he had a rocket double to the gap to score all 3. So he clears them on a triple. And after McMahon hit a home run, again, I can't show every single clip. Willie Castro, he got that run right back. Margot, he got on for the 3rd time in the first 4 innings. He gets an RBI. He then steals a bag. He probably would have scored anyways on this single. Correa, he also got on 3 times in the first 4 innings. Royce Lewis, he just made some Twins history. He's the first player ever to have 22 home runs in his first 80 big league games. The Rockies, they scored a bunch on some bad Minnesota baseball, but look at Correa. He's still going at it. That's his first ever 5-hit game, so he got another one after the 3rd hit. Obviously, that started another rally. Miranda, he smoked a 2-run double off the wall. Royce Lewis is just a little bit faster than Correa, so he's right behind him as they score. Minnesota, they ran it all the way up to 17-9, and again, all 10 hitters had an RBI. That's the 3rd most ever. I think the record is 12 hitters back in the 1950s or something like that. While we're on the topic of high-scoring games, let's recap the other 2 blowouts. Every other game was relatively close. Harrison Bader, he belted a 2-run home run from the 2 spot. Now, the Marlins did tie it. Cool, awesome. Proud of you guys. 2 thumbs up. And the pitcher for the Mets, Peterson, he was disgusted with himself. But look at this. The team with the most errors, talking about the Marlins, they made a ton of errors. The Mets, they used that to go up 5-2 as Francisco Alvarez and JD Martinez, they both had some RBI singles with that error kind of sandwiched in between those singles. The Marlins, they made it seem like they were about it again, like another comeback, but Starling Marte said no. That's his 7th home run. He also has 10 stolen bases. He's almost hitting 290. He's been very good offensively. We won't talk about his defense. Mets fans, you know what I'm talking about. But Tyrone Taylor, he got on base 4 times, 4 hits in this one, and Mark Vientos, man, he's got 16 RBIs in like 24 games. Mr. Smile, he swatted his 11th home run. Lindor now has 9 stolen bases and 8 outs above average along with those 11 home runs. Starling Marte had the 10th and final run, so another RBI. The Mets, they won 5 of their last 7, I believe. Can they turn their season around? The Yankees had another blissful day down in the... Who's even starting for the Royals? I'm sorry, I don't know who that is, but Aaron Judge, he dropped in another bloop shot, and he ups his on-base streak to 37 games. Doogie, he knocked in 2. Alex Verdugo now has 37 RBIs. Rizzo, maybe this is a swing that starts to get him back to normal. He really put a charge into that one, but it's a sac fly line drive. Jose Trevino, the catcher, again, he's got platinum-level defense with the framing. He's hitting 270 with 6 home runs and an almost 110 OPS plus. Is this another one for... It is. A Stantonian blast. 450 feet. He has 17 home runs. And 5 years ago to the day, I do want to show this, Royals fans. Bobby, he was taken number 2 overall. Allie was number 1, if you guys forgot. Bobby laced a double down the line. He's got a 13-game hit streak. And by the way, Tatis, he ended his hit streak. So I think Bobby now has the number 1 in baseball. He's hitting 330 with a 940 OPS, 19 stolen bases, 10 outs above average. He is the best 5-tool player in baseball outside of Ohtani because he's got the pitching too. Man, the Yankees... Who's going to stop this team once Garrett Cole and Jason Dominguez comes back? Honestly, that is a real and valid question. They're now 28 games over 500. They destroyed the Royals in the first 2 games. We saw the Twins put up 17. The Royals gave up 11, and the Guardians, they let one man beat them with 2 swings. Both starters, they were striking out everyone, Tanner Bybee and Nick Lodolo, but Jamer, he cracked one in the first inning, and Tanner Bybee, he really locked in. He had 11 strikeouts and 5 1/3, but that would be his last pitch. How did Jamer get that ball to leave? Apparently, everyone thinks that Cleveland formed a wind tunnel in Progressive Field. Maybe they took that with them on the road and forgot to turn it off when Jamer was at the dish. Yeah, Nick Lodolo, he was fantastic. He struck out 6 over 6. He kept the Guardians in check. He's got a 2.9 ERA and 62 strikeouts in 58 innings. Alexis Diaz, he finally had a 1-2-3 9th inning. He now has 14 saves. And by the way, tip of the cap to the Reds bullpen. They did not allow a single base hit over the final 3 or 4 frames. And by the way, I love fireworks. And just a reminder, 4th of July is almost here. This year is flying by. Wait, I know I said the blowouts were done, but I forgot to show kind of a mini blowout. You'll see what I mean in just a second. Kevin Pillar, he will not stop driving in runs, and Zach Neto, he won't stop hitting home runs. He's got 8 home runs. That lay kick and finish is so much fun to watch. Nolan Shanuel and Luis Rengifo both got on for Joe Adell. Well, now it's just 1 because Moreno, he tossed a C to nab Rengifo trying to steal second base. I think I'm reading the box score wrong. I got ahead of myself. So Willie Calhoun, he drove in a run in this inning, and here's Joe Adell with 2 runners on. No one's on anymore because Joe Adell hit the power swing button. The batting average and the strikeouts are always going to be an issue, but he's got 12 home runs, 9 stolen bases, and 5 defensive run saves because he has a rocket for an arm. I need a full breakout season where Adell somehow figures out how to hit 270. Jose Soriano is breaking out on the bump. He's in the 8th inning. He struck out 3 in the 8th. I just want to kind of tip my cap to him because he's been incredible. I do want to show Christian Walker and Ketel Marte. They did hit home runs. By the way, Walker's home run was 451 feet. That's the longest by a Diamondback. Marte, he's got 14 home runs and a 146 OPS plus. But the story is Jose Soriano and the Angels. I think Soriano has gone 6+ innings in 5 consecutive starts. Look at him. He throws a million as well, which is surprising that he doesn't have a lot of strikeouts, but he does miss barrels. Another Ohtani home run. This kickstarts a string of a few one-run ball games to recap, but Ohtani now has 17 home runs, 15 stolen bases. Is he going to win MVP as a DH? What's going on? I do not need Walker Buehler back on the IL, but he's not happy with the visit. He says that he's okay. He kind of made Mookie flinch a little bit, and immediately after everyone left the mound, he allowed a hit. 2 runners are on, but he stranded them with 2 consecutive strikeouts. It got Langford and Jonah Heim. Jonah Heim was heated at himself. Buehler, he held the Rangers scoreless until... Oh my His old buddy, Corey Seager, he said no to 5 scoreless. Corey, he's on one of those Seager hot stretches right now. His first game back in Dodger Stadium, he goes, yeah, that's 12 home runs and a .330 batting average over his last 26 games. Kirby Yates, he towed the rubber and, again, Jason, he jolted a pitch to right center. He scores. Will Smith. Andy Pages, he missed the stop sign or he just straight up ran through it and he's out. Dave Roberts, he wanted to try and challenge to save the game and see if there was a block or not at home. They said no block. Do you guys commend Andy Pages and his aggressiveness, or do you think that he should have stayed put and tried to score another way? Like maybe you just stay patient and wait for the next guy in the order? I don't know. The legend of Davis Schneider continues to grow. He was 0 for 18 before this swing, but hey, 16 home runs and a near 140 OPS plus in your first 96 games as a big leaguer. That is pretty impressive. Chris Bassett, he did a great job to shut out the Brewers over 5, but look how his team gave away the lead. The ball squirts away. Terang, he steals second base, and Perkins, he's credited with a stolen base of home. William Contreras, he hit one the other way for the go-ahead. This dude is a freak for a catcher. He then stole second base as a catcher. He's hitting .305 with 47 RBIs, 5 stolen bases, and a 135 OPS plus. That stolen base was big because William, he probably doesn't score without it. An RBI single for Christian Yelich and Willie Adames, my goodness. Off the scoreboard, I think, 450 feet for a 2-run moonshot. He's going to get so much money. I would really love if he maybe took like $22 million or something like that, came to the Guardians. That would be insane. Hobie Milner, he forgot how to pitch, and he was not good to say the least. Spencer Horwitz scores Ernie Clement. Milwaukee then brought in the lethal Trevor McGill, and there's no way. He squibbed one for an RBI single. Trevor did strike out George Springer, so that's big time right there. But Kirk, he barreled one up moments later. It's just a sac fly. 2 are still on for Vladimir Guerrero, and another barrel right to Perkins. That is baseball in a nutshell. McGill now has 11 saves. He's been very, very good. We had a home run derby down in Tampa Bay after Isaac Paredes hit one the other way for an RBI extra base hit. Those are rare. Seiya again said, see ya. Suzuki now has 8 home runs and an almost 130 OPS plus. Jose Siri, how far did that go? He also has 8 home runs, 435 feet. He has one of my favorite home run struts in all of baseball. Also, shout out to the fan right there. That is a fantastic catch from him. Tampa, they're up 1 after 6, but with one swing, Cody Bellinger, he steals the lead. He has a $30 million player option for 2025. He has 9 home runs and a 119 OPS plus and decent defense. I think that he's not going to opt out. He's probably going to make $30 million next year. Also, I don't think that Neris should have been out in this game. He threw a ton the day before. He gave up a walk-off home run. Caballero just went yard. Now we get round 2 of Brandon Lau versus Neris. Round 2 goes to Neris. His 4.2 ERA is not great. Alzolay has been iffy as well. Are the Cubs going to be in the market for a closer? But they are 33 and 35, so should they even try or should they just give up? The Orioles were said to be in the market for a closer, but maybe Craig has figured something out. We'll talk about him later on. The Orioles went up 2-0 after some miscues from the Atlanta Braves defense, and Cade Povich, he kept tossing zeros after zeros. The rookie went 6 shutout. He also struck out 6. He kept the Braves off balance all afternoon. He also did not walk any either. Just unfortunately, Matt Olson, yeah, he made it for his early air. Now, Povich is not going to be in line for a W. That was a missile lefty-lefty 2-run blast. But Colton Cowser, he untied it. His last name obviously is Cowser. That's why you see a bunch of fans in the outfield in cow outfits. And like I said earlier, Kimbrel, he seemed to have found something after he kind of got humbled. He gave up a ton of runs over the stretch of a couple weeks. He has a 0 ERA in his last 12 games, 8 saves over the last 3 weeks. And here's a cool shot of him and Adley kind of chopping it up. The Orioles, they're 23 games over 500, and for the first time in 5 years, the Atlanta Braves have dropped 5 games in a row. And again, if you kind of backdate it to the last month or two, they're essentially dead last in every single offensive category. Oof, Framber Valdez did not have his best stuff down in San Francisco. Wilmer, he broke his bat, and Jordan, he makes the catch, and then he just threw it over everyone's head. Yaz scores. Matt Chapman, he also went over everyone's head, but that's a good thing because he's hitting. Now, the Astros, they kind of fought back a little bit. Jeremy Pena's speed and Logan Webb forgetting to cover first made it a 1-run game. But Framber, he could not keep San Francisco at bay. You see what I did there? Austin Slater versus lefties is just a cheat code. He pulled a Correa. He went 3 for 3 before the 4th inning even came to a close. Elliot Ramos, he lifted a sac fly to make it 5-1, and It's still a quality start for Logan Webb. He did go 6 innings. It just doesn't look as good after Jordan cranked one 405 feet the other way. He has 143 strikeouts and a 164 OPS plus through his first 550 games. That's insane. Camilo Doval, he got Dubon to bite on a 101 fastball away. He couldn't check his swing. The Giants are nearly back to a 500 record. They're 5-2 over their last 7. They're 34-35 on the year. You guys remember that book we all had to read when we were in middle school or something like that? I think it was called The Tale of Two Cities. Well, this was the tale of two implosions. Boston, they first imploded in the first few innings. Harper, he snuck one past Dahlback for an RBI. Dahlback, he's not happy that he missed it. Philly, they put up a few more after Stott laid down an RBI ground ball. Witt, he singled in Bohm, and Dahl, he hit the wall for an RBI double. David Dahl could be a problem going forward if he stays locked in and is strictly a platoon bat. But here comes Jarren Duran and the boys. His speed rushed Whit Merrifield and Harper. He couldn't scoop it at first base because that's not easy to scoop. 2 score on the errant throw, and we have a tie game. Tyler O'Neill's sac fly made it 4-4, and Emmanuel Valdez, he completed the Philly implosion. He's barely hanging on to playing time, and he's going to keep on doing this because he's got a 180 batting average. Did the Red Sox implode again? My friend Bryson pulled an RBI double to right field, and Harper, I guess he thought that he was in there easy. If Wong catches this ball, Harper, he might have been tagged out. Philly, they could not get any more across. Jansen, he does get his 10th save, and he's 3 behind Craig Kimbrell, by the way. He has 430 career saves. St. Louis wants to remind people that on any given day, if Sonny Gray is on the bump and they give him a lead, they're one of the hardest teams in baseball to beat. Arenado, he already had a base hit, so he's now 2 for 2. Give him an RBI because Reynolds, I tip my cap to the hustle, but he missed it. Cabrine, he stopped Carlson from getting an RBI double, but nonetheless, it's an RBI single. Mason, when he legged out a double play, it still would have been an RBI even if he didn't. But hey, check this out. Pittsburgh, they turned the double play a few moments later. Nick Gonzalez started it, and O'Neal Cruz's arm finished it. We have some more Nick Gonzalez action. He doubled, and then he scored after Michael A. Taylor had a single. It's okay, though, because Brendan Donovan, he got that run right back. All 6'7" of O'Neal Cruz could not get there in time. The sun, it was out, but the skies were gray. Get it? Because Sonny Gray was starting. Sorry, that was really cringe. I'm sorry for that. But Sonny, he went 7 innings on just 84 pitches. He had 9 strikeouts, and also he only allowed 5 base runners. I do like this, though. Henry Davis, who was the #1 overall pick in 2021, he's not been good. But if he can keep on doing this, he'll be just a little bit better. Ryan Helsley, he notched his 22nd save that leads baseball. And the Cardinals, they're 17-13 over their last 30 games. So that's not too bad. And the Pirates, they're in last place in the Central. Is Matt Vierling turning into a star? I'm not gonna say that yet, but he's got 8 home runs and a near 120 OPS plus. That's pretty good. Now this kid is a star. CJ now has 11 home runs, 10 stolen bases. We won't talk about the defense, but CJ Abrams is in fact a star. Not a superstar just yet, but he has the flair and the talent to get there eventually. Washington, they grabbed the lead after Kybert lined a sac fly, and there's CJ again. Jacob Young can fly, so he scores easy on CJ's second RBI extra base hit of the night, and Winker, he brought home CJ. Poor Reese Olson, he never gets run support, and now his defense is just completely failing him. Winker scores on that, but did I jinx it? Colt Keith, he scores Wencel Perez, and now Washington's defense is the one that's making errors. Urshela, he doubled, he scores 2. It's now a 1-run game. But the Nationals, they doused the fire. They grabbed 2 more insurance runs after Luis Garcia Jr. had an infield single and Joe Meneses singled in for the second run. Good thing that they did that because Riley Green, he tagged Kyle Finnegan. If they did not score anything, it would have been a tie game. Now, this doesn't happen very often. Finnegan says, I promise you it's not going to happen again. He hangs on. He's got 19 saves. The Tigers, are they good? I can't really tell. Well, that does it for today's recap. I'm not going to lie. This one felt endless. This just felt like a beefy recap. So thank you so much for watching until the end. If you did, you're a real one. I appreciate you guys and enjoy the web gems.
Yes, no cone, held on, 1 out.
That is perfectly timed, and it looked like it was starting to slice away from him.
Right.
Solid line drive.
Ground ball to the shortstop hole. Henderson snares it. Bazooka! Here with 2 outs. Velasquez lines it into center. Judge dives and makes the catch.
Down the left field line, falling fast as Zokar will get there.
Urias hits that off of Schwellenbach. Ozzie Albies jumps to throw it across, and he makes the play. Diving is Nicky Lopez, and he makes the play.